Hey, what up, guys? So coming at you with another. This one, excuse me, is my June fighter of the month. Um, I want to get to that as quickly as possible at the start of every month. I messed up and got the May one out way too late. Now we're gonna do June. The month of June just ended. Kind of hard to put things in perspective quickly, but I was able to do it. I want to break down the guys I think deserve. There was a lot of fights in this month. Couple props I want to send out to guys that didn't quite crack the top five because it was close. It really was. We'll start with Tyson Fury, dominating performance over Tom Schwartz, undefeated but little known heavyweight contender. It was kind of a so what, but Fury went out and blitzed his ass in the first fight of a big contract. Again, that's a lot of pressure, kind of like Deontay Wilder in May. It's a lot of pressure taking on some nobody because you got to look good, against that guy, and he dominated. So big win there. Also, want to give some props to, let me see here. Sullivan Barrera. Jesse Hart, American Jesse Hart, for his pretty convincing 10-round unanimous decision win over Sullivan Barrera. That was impressive, These are two guys that are at the back half of the top 10 at light heavyweight. Jesse Hart moving up to 175 to face Barrera on short notice, and just outworking him and getting a convincing 10-round decision. No title on the line, but it was an impressive performance. So he didn't quite make the top five. It was close, but I got to give him props for that performance. All right, so now I'm going to get into the top five. Actually, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I got a two-way tie for fifth. It's kind of hard to pick one over the other. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to give another shout out. Another shout out to instead of having them crack the top five, because I'm pretty solid on right around my top five. I'm pretty solid on him. I'm going to go Josh Warrington, gets another shout out. IBF featherweight champion, undefeated. He's number 2 at featherweight for me. Hard fought, but strong performance against undefeated Kid Galahad. Now, this fight later on down the road might prove to be a bigger win, but Galahad wasn't a top 10 featherweight coming in, and Warrington struggled with him. Excuse me. But he dug deep and got a hard-fought split decision over an undefeated and his mandatory number 1 contender in Galahad. So, impressive win there. So, now we're going to get into my top 5 and who I think is deserving. Number 5 on the month is undefeated WBO middleweight champion Demetrius Andrade. He dominated Maciej Sulecki to a 12-round unanimous decision, knocked him down in the first round. Sulecki was my number 10 middleweight in the world coming into the fight. Andrade was number 5. And Andrade put himself, that was pretty much the biggest win of his career. I'm not surprised that he beat Sulecki the way he did, but it was just a good, strong performance, and it's what people were, pretty much expecting, and he just shut it down. He won almost every round, really proved that he's a good, solid middleweight, and held on to his world title and is pushing forward towards, something bigger. So it was an impressive win over a top 10 guy. So Demetrius Andrade, number 5. Number 4, I'm giving it to IBF lightweight champion Richard Comey for his 8th round TKO victory over Ray Beltran, Mexican veteran, former world champ. I know some people are going to say, well, Beltran's, older. He's 38. And you're right. But Beltran's a tough-ass Mexican fighter, and he's been around for a long time. He's a gamer, And Comey, we really didn't know a lot about Comey. His best performances were in defeat to Robert Easter and Denis Shafikov a couple years back. Now he's a lightweight champ, and he's on the verge of facing Teofimo Lopez. If he wins that, possibly Vasily Lomachenko. He's got something to prove. And also, the impressive thing to me in this fight was the fact that he didn't need to look good in this fight. In terms of, because he was going to stay the IBF champion no matter what, because Beltran missed weight the day before. So when Beltran missed weight, the IBF told Comey, whether you win or lose the fight, you're not going to lose the title. So he could have mailed it in. He could have just got a workmanlike decision. He didn't have to look good. And Comey came out to make a statement. And against a good top 10 lightweight like Beltran, and a former champion and a guy who's a straight grinder, he scored 4 knockdowns, stopped him in the 8th round. That's impressive. So, got to give some props to Richard Comey. Big time win right there. He finishes number 4 on the month for June. Now, finishing the month number 3 for me is Andrew Cancio, the WBA regular super featherweight champ that's 130 pounds, for his 3rd round knockout of Alberto Machado in their rematch. Machado, you don't know how good this guy really is, but he's a young, undefeated. He was undefeated coming into February when he lost to Cancio. And the rematch, I think a lot of people thought he was going to blow out Cancio in the rematch, because the first time, everybody chalked it up to him overlooking Cancio and the weight problems that he has making 130. And I gave him that credit too. So heading into the rematch, I thought he was going to kick the shit out of Cancio in the rematch. And Cancio wasn't having it. Cancio walked right through him and knocked him out even easier and quicker this time, because he didn't get hurt like he did the first time in the first round. Machado knocked Cancio down in February in the very first round before Cancio came back and knocked him out in the 4th. This time, Cancio walked right through everything Machado had, knocked him out in the 3rd round. People can make the excuse that it was weight. Maybe weight had something to do with Machado. He's not as strong at 130. Okay, that's fine. But when you demand an immediate rematch, you go in there, you train hard. I think most people thought that he was going to roll over Cancio in the rematch. I did. And Cancio fucking proved everybody wrong and destroyed Alberto Machado in only 3 rounds. 3rd round knockout win on a body shot again. Impressive performance. I'm not sure how good Cancio is going to be, but this was impressive. Now, finishing the month number 2. It's kind of quiet finish here. Most people aren't going to agree with this, but I'm giving it to Junior Dorticos for his 10th round knockout of Andrew Tabiti in the World Boxing Super Series semifinals. It was also for the vacant IBF Cruiserweight title. Some people aren't going to give this fight props. The reason I'm giving this fight props is because it was the World Boxing Super Series semifinals, a vacant world title on the line. Now, people who are not paying attention to the World Boxing Super Series, it's a mistake, because this division right here, this Final Four, it doesn't have Usyk. You're right, but he's moving up to heavyweight, and he won this tournament last year. This tournament is to determine the face of the division going forward, the new big dog in the division. Dorticos barely lost last year to Gassiev in the semifinals on a 12th round TKO and a Fight of the Year candidate. Great fight. He got TKO'd in the last round. He came in, the number 2 seed in the tournament. He's taking on undefeated Tabiti, who's got a Mayweather-esque type defense and style. Not an easy guy to hit. And, I think there was a lot of people that thought that Tabiti could outbox Dorticos. Dorticos was not having it. Dorticos kept applying the pressure, kept trying to land something big. Tabiti mainly played defense. He didn't really land a lot of good shots. And Dorticos never let the fight get away from him. And in the 10th round, he landed a picture-perfect right hand on the chin that knocked Tabiti out cold. And he was able to win the vacant IBF title that Usyk gave up that day, actually. So that's a lot of pressure when you're going into the fight thinking, all right, this is a World Boxing Super Series. This is a big deal, the semifinals. And then you get a shot at a world title. That's huge. Huge. There's a lot of pressure. And he passed with flying colors. A beautiful knockout win. Great victory. Punches his ticket to the finals, where he's going to get an opportunity to compete for a total of 3 belts, because the vacant WBC belt's on the line in the finals, and so is the WBO belt that's held by his opponent, Maris Bradis. So, big win right here for Dorticos. Got to hand it to him. Impressive. But number 1 on the month for Fighter of the Month in the month of June is the newly crowned unified heavyweight champion, Andy Ruiz Jr., for his 7th round TKO of previously undefeated and now former champ Anthony Joshua. This fight was on June 1st on DAZN. It was the fight of the month in terms of the most hyped fight of the month in June. Big time fight. And, I'm just shocked that this happened the way it did, especially when he got put down in that 3rd round, and the fact that he almost finished off Joshua, and he never let the momentum get away from him after that. That was the most impressive things. He did enough to not let Joshua steal the momentum back, get his legs back under him. He kept pressuring, kept going after Joshua, and he would land a punch just when you thought Joshua was taking the tide back. Joshua looked like he hurt him in that 7th round when he got stopped. Looked like he hurt Ruiz again. And it wasn't as bad because Joshua immediately jumped on him again, just like he did in the 3rd. And boom, Ruiz landed a big shot that hurt Joshua again. And Joshua just, he had trouble recovering. The referee stopped the fight. Some people think a little premature. Personally, I think he was going to get stopped anyways in that round, or even after that because his legs were gone. But it was just an impressive performance by Andy Ruiz to come out of nowhere, take this fight on short notice, and come out and shock the undefeated unified heavyweight champion Joshua, who I felt was the best heavyweight even over Fury and Wilder. And to do that, just impressive performance by Andy Ruiz. First ever fucking Mexican heavyweight champion of the world. Big time win right there. That's huge. And yeah, I was impressed, you know. So he absolutely deserves it. He won 3 of the 4 belts. I know a rematch is in order, but they, you know, and if he loses that, they can never take away what he accomplished in this one. This was huge. And you know, amateur backgrounds matter, guys. They do. And he fought over 100 amateur heavyweight fights. I don't care what shape he is in. This guy knows how to box. He knows how to fight. He's been in the ring. That's how you get the reps in. You know, that's why I tell my boys in travel ball all the time. The reason why my sons are good at baseball is because they get the repetition in. It's not just because they want it more than other people, is they get the repetition in. And that matters, guys. It really matters a lot. So June Fighter of the Month, Andy Ruiz Jr., new heavyweight champion. True boxing, been hit with the truth.